right, so right now we're going to check Cordy's arm length differentials. This is something I do to every student now, or every fit that I do, is to measure this, because if you can measure it, measure it. If not, you're in the dark, right? I would want to know what I'm dealing with, right? Where I know I need to take him, not only as a teacher or as a fitter, and you know, how do I create that light bulb moment for him if he's been in the wrong place for forever, and I can change it. So Cordy, I want you to make a knuckle, make a fist, flat wrist, right? So I'm going to measure from the elbow to the top. So Cordy is 16 inches from top of the knuckle, middle finger knuckle to the bottom of the elbow. And then I'm going to feel the top of the humeral head. It's right there. Cordy is 15 inches. So he's 1 inch longer in his lower arm to his upper arm.
Interesting.
So he will always be predisposed to being a lot, be more vertical. Right? Not as vertical as maybe a Jack Nicklaus, but kind of in between. You'd be more like a Henrik Stenson in terms of swing plane. If you want to look, all you have to do is go Google their swing and then go Google their putter motion, and you can see that, wow, if I put that putter in a certain position and you think of this as a gun barrel and it's going to create an exit wound in your back, you will see Tiger Woods in a position where the exit wound's in the same spot as where his putter is. Jack Nicklaus will have an exit wound coming out of his upper shoulder with a driver, and it'll be in the same spot with his putter. Right? So Chris DeMarco, very steep motion in his golf swing and very steep and went to the claw. Right? So we'll talk about, so if I were to look at Cordy, if you were to just set up, you know, just face this direction, okay? And I looked at where his putters, so if I look at the plane of his putter, it's pretty close to where it needs to be. So if we were to turn Cordy around to the camera here, right, get in a golf posture, okay, a shoulder slot would be from here to here. The exit wound of that putter should shoot out of here. From here to here would be a torso slot, right in this area. And from here to here would be a hip slot. So someone could be a upper hip slot or a lower torso slot, right? Or vice versa. So these origins, so it'd be like a cone going down to the ball from each one of those areas. That's your slot. And if someone is in an incorrect slot, let's say you started in a hip slot, you would probably automatically already float out to your orientation.
Do a lot of shoulder slots like you talk about, you need that lie maybe a little bit more upright.
Definitely.
Go to the claw and do some stuff like that to get towards that?
Potentially, and we'll talk about that in a segment about the grip. Okay. Because this is just measuring this differential, that's the arm length differential. And you'll see it in the full swing. You'll see somebody that's got, you know, very long span to their height, so they take it back more vertical, but then they slot torso, right? You'll see them be big span to their height, but longer here than there, and you'll see them go up vertical and come down vertical, right? You'll see somebody like Sergio who's equidistant, you know, a little bit longer here than here. I mean, he's longer here than here, but his span's pretty much the same. So as he comes down, but then he covers, right? So you'll see in their full swing and their putting, you look at Sergio, that is one of the reasons why for him to get in his hip slot, right? He would have been above plane with his normal grip because he's a cover golfer, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So I hope that clarifies slots and why you're having that problem with the putter moving outward. And it's very common in shoulder slots, and there's a lot of shoulder slots out there that are misdiagnosed, or they don't know they're a shoulder slot. So they start off here, they buy putters that are 69-degree lie angles because they feel comfortable being flat, but then they take it back and the putter just floats out there for some reason. And then they make the mistake of rotating their hand underneath to try to help with the path, and they cause the secondary problem, right? So I can fit a person perfectly for aim, and if I get them in the right slot, but then they you know, or they're in the wrong slot, and then they go to the stronger grip, then they've negated the value of the putter that I just fit them for, because they're trying to fix a path problem that originated from a poor slot rather than, you know, the face rotating due to the grip and the slot issue.
What was the lie of that putter?
It's 70.
70.
Yeah.
So that was
so 70. You could go 70, 71 right in that area. We're going to screen you here in a second, and then look at your fold pattern. And that'll help us understand where you should be with your grip. And we'll talk about grip shortly.
Are there any parameters to hit those different portions that you like to see the lie angle in?
Yes. So, you know, if someone's upper shoulder slot, so if you're 2 inches longer than here to there, you're going to be 75 to 73. And if you're, if you're kind of 1 inch, you're going to be around 71, right around that area. If you're 72 to 71, depending on your fold pattern, right? So getting somebody, and it can influence your aim bias too. So there's some factors that are kind of involved with the length of your putter, whether you're an under golfer or a side-on golfer, and we'll test your fold. Because an under golfer is going to be more this way, and the elbows are going to move this way more, and a cover golfer will be a little closer. So depending on where you need to recruit to, and the plane you need to be on is dictated by your fold pattern. So we'll talk about that. So from 71 to 69 will be kind of a torso slot, and then a little flatter from that would be a hip slot. All right, we don't see a lot of hip slots. Generally speaking, most people you screen, you'll see this be a little. It'll be either neutral and this being slightly longer. In Asia and Korea, for example, I had a lot of people that were longer in their upper arm than their lower arm, so that's why they have little flatter swings coming down. But it can be very geographic. Why people have maybe longer arms here than here. So
pretty standard where I'm at.
Yeah, you don't fall out of any weirdo norm,
Sure.
of like, oh, he's 4 inches longer here and shorter here. So it's something everybody can measure, and you should all know it. You should all know your fold, because that'll help you dictate. You don't ever want to be being taught into a flatter swing than your actual arm length differential. So if you're 2 inches here and someone's trying to get you on a hip slot or a torso slot, you should run, because you're going to get hurt, because you're dropping well below where your body wants to recruit to, right? In my opinion, players that have done that, like Heimer, tried to go to a torso slot from a shoulder slot, and he went from 1 in the world to 100th, 120th in the world. So it can be devastating to your full swing. It can be devastating for your putting.